September 3, 1972. Las Vegas International Hotel. Priscilla Presley pushed open her husband's dressing room door without knocking. What she saw in those 7 seconds would end the most famous marriage in music history and confirm the secret everyone whispered about but no one dared say out loud. Sometimes the truth doesn't set you free. Sometimes it just breaks your heart. The casino floor is alive. Slot machines chime. Ice clinks in crystal glasses. It's 11 p.m., 1 hour before Elvis Presley takes the stage for his midnight show. Priscilla Presley steps through the crowd wearing a black pantsuit and oversized sunglasses. The air is thick with cigar smoke and desperation. Around her, 1,400 fans swarm the lobby, clutching tickets, cameras, autograph books. They scream when they see her. "Priscilla, where's Elvis?" She doesn't answer. Security guard Jerry Schilling meets her at the backstage entrance. He's worked for Elvis for 7 years. Knows the family, knows the secrets. Tonight, he sees something in Priscilla's face that makes him uneasy. "He's in his dressing room," Jerry says. "Want me to let him know you're here?" Priscilla shakes her head. "I'll surprise him." She walks. The hallway is 147 feet long. Gold-trimmed walls. Framed photographs of Elvis in his prime, 1956. Black leather, that crooked smile. Red carpet beneath her feet. The air smells like expensive cologne and something else. Something wrong. She can hear Elvis's voice through the door. Deep, warm, laughing. And then another voice. Higher. Female. Laughter that sounds too comfortable. Too familiar. Priscilla stops 3 feet from the door. Her hand trembles as it reaches for the doorknob. She's been married to Elvis for 5 years. 5 years of rumors. Late-night calls. Lipstick on shirt collars. Perfume that wasn't hers. She'd ignored it all. Believed his excuses. Convinced herself she was paranoid. But tonight feels different. What do you do when you already know the answer but can't stop yourself from asking the question? She turns the handle. The door swings open. And everything changes. The dressing room is 18 feet by 22 feet. Gold mirrors line the walls. Red velvet couch against the far side. Makeup counter cluttered with pill bottles and hairspray. A bottle of champagne sits half empty, 2 glasses beside it. Priscilla sees it all in fragments. Elvis is standing by the mirror in his white jumpsuit. It's half-zipped, exposing his chest. His hair is jet black, slicked back, still perfect. Beside him, sitting on the arm of the red couch, is Linda Thompson. Brunette, 22 years old. Backup singer. Beauty queen. Miss Tennessee, 1972. She's laughing at something Elvis just said. Her hand rests on his shoulder. 7 seconds. That's how long it takes for Priscilla to process what she's seeing. 1. Elvis's face goes pale. 2. Linda freezes mid-laugh. 3. Priscilla's eyes drop to the champagne glasses. 4. The room smells like betrayal and White Diamond's perfume. 5. Elvis says her name, Scylla. But it sounds hollow, caught in his throat. 6. Linda stands up too fast, knocking over one of the glasses. Champagne spills across the counter. 7. Priscilla feels nothing. And that's the scariest part. She doesn't scream, doesn't cry, doesn't throw anything. She just stands there, hands still on the doorknob, staring at the man she gave up everything for. Jerry Schilling appears behind her in the hallway. He sees it too. His face drops. "Priscilla," Elvis starts. She puts up a hand. Stops him. The silence is suffocating. How many warnings do you ignore before you're complicit in your own heartbreak? Priscilla backs out of the room. Slowly, carefully, like she's stepping away from a bomb that hasn't exploded yet. She doesn't say a word. But in her purse is a photograph. One that will change everything. March 1, 1967. Priscilla Beaulieu was 21 years old when she became Priscilla Presley. The wedding took place at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas. 8 minutes. That's how long the ceremony lasted. She wore a white chiffon gown with a 3-foot train and a rhinestone tiara. 14 people attended. No cameras. No press. Elvis wanted it private. They cut a 5-tier cake and posed for exactly 6 photographs. Priscilla smiled like she'd won the lottery. But here's what nobody knew. She'd met Elvis 8 years earlier, September 13th, 1959, at a house party in Wiesbaden, Germany. She was 14 years old. Her stepfather, Air Force Captain Paul Beaulieu, was stationed overseas. Elvis was 24, serving in the U.S. Army, already the biggest star in the world. He called her Scylla and told her she was different from other girls. She believed him. For 2 years, they wrote letters. Then, in 1963, Elvis convinced her parents to let her move to Memphis. Finish high school at Graceland. Live under his roof, under his rules, under his control. Priscilla left her family, left her friends, left the life she knew, and disappeared into his. Elvis controlled everything. Her clothes, her hair, her makeup, her friends, even the color of her nail polish. She dyed her hair jet black to match his, lined her eyes heavy with kohl because he liked it, wore the dresses he picked out, smiled when he told her to, became who he wanted her to be. And for years, she told herself it was love. But love shouldn't make you disappear. By 1972, Priscilla is 27 years old. She has a 5-year-old daughter named Lisa Marie, a mansion, a famous last name, everything she thought she wanted. But when she looks in the mirror, she doesn't recognize the woman staring back. When does devotion become erasure? And now, standing in that hotel hallway on September 3rd, staring at the closed dressing room door, she remembers the photograph in her purse. The one she brought to show Elvis tonight. The one that will force him to finally face the truth. The photograph was taken 6 weeks earlier. July 24th, 1972. A karate studio in Los Angeles. Sunlight streaming through the windows. Priscilla is mid-laugh, standing beside her karate instructor, Mike Stone. It's innocent. Just 2 people at practice. But her smile is different. Unguarded. Real. Alive. She'd started taking karate lessons in early 1972. Elvis didn't care. He was too busy touring, performing, living his double life in Vegas. So Priscilla went to the studio 3 times a week. Mike Stone was 6 feet 2 inches, quiet, respectful. A former champion. He treated her like a person, not a possession. Asked her opinions. Let her speak. Listened when she talked. For the first time in years, Priscilla felt like herself. She fell for him slowly, then all at once. By July, they were meeting for coffee after class, talking for hours, laughing about things that had nothing to do with Elvis. She told Mike things she'd never told anyone. How lonely she was, how invisible she felt, how she'd spent a decade becoming someone else and didn't know how to find herself again. Mike didn't try to fix her. He just listened. And that was everything. The photograph was taken by another student. A candid shot. Nothing romantic. But when Priscilla looked at it later, she saw the truth in her own face. She was happy. She'd planned to show Elvis the photo tonight. Planned to sit him down and tell him the truth. Ask for a separation. Be honest, the way she wished he'd been honest with her all these years. But now, after seeing Linda Thompson in his dressing room, the conversation feels different. Is it still betrayal if you were betrayed first? Priscilla doesn't need to confess. She doesn't need permission. The photograph stays in her purse. She walks past Jerry Schilling, past the gold-trimmed hallway, past the framed photos of Elvis in his prime, past the screaming fans who think they know her life. She reaches the elevator, presses the button, and makes a decision that will echo for the next 50 years. Elvis performs that night, takes the stage at midnight to a sold-out crowd of 1,400 people. The lights hit him. The music starts. He sings Suspicious Minds and Burning Love. And, at the end, Can't Help Falling in Love. His voice is perfect. But backstage, everything is falling apart. Priscilla flies back to Los Angeles the next morning, September 4th, 1972. She doesn't answer Elvis's calls. 14 voicemails. 12 texts to Jerry Schilling asking where she is. 3 days later, September 7th, Priscilla calls Elvis. I want a divorce. Silence. Then, you're joking. I'm not. Elvis is stunned. Angry. Heartbroken. He didn't think she'd actually leave. He thought she'd forgive him. She always forgave him. He calls her 14 times in one night, sends flowers to her house, 100 red roses, a note that says, "I'm sorry, please, Scylla, please." But Priscilla has already moved her things out of Graceland. She files for divorce on July 26, 1972, citing irreconcilable differences. The hearing is private. No press. No cameras. Just lawyers and paperwork and the death of a fairy tale. On October 9, 1973, their divorce is finalized in Santa Monica Superior Court. Priscilla gets custody of Lisa Marie, who is 5 years old. Elvis gets visitation rights and a broken heart. And then he spirals. Gains 40 pounds in 6 months. Increases his prescription drug use, Demerol, Percodan, Dilaudid. Sleeps through the day. Performs at night. Friends like Red West and Sonny West watch him deteriorate and don't know how to stop it. Linda Thompson tries to fill the void. Moves into Graceland. Stays by his side for 4 years. But she's not Priscilla. No one is. Elvis performs over 1,100 concerts between 1973 and 1977. Sells out arenas. Makes millions. But the light behind his eyes is gone. What does it cost a man to lose the one person who truly knew him? 4 years later, on August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley is found dead in his Graceland bathroom. He's 42 years old. And Priscilla's phone rings. Priscilla was at her home in Los Angeles when she got the call. It was 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. Lisa Marie was 9 years old, playing in the backyard. The voice on the other end was Joe Esposito, Elvis's road manager. "Priscilla, he's gone." She didn't ask who. She didn't need to. The funeral was August 18, 1977, at Graceland. 50,000 fans lined the streets of Memphis. Police barricades. News helicopters. The world watched. Priscilla wore black. Held Lisa Marie's hand. Cried in a way she hadn't cried since that night in the dressing room 5 years earlier. Because here's what haunts her. She loved him. Even after everything. Even after the control, the infidelity, the years of losing herself. She loved the boy from Tupelo who sang gospel songs and called her Scylla. Who promised her the world and gave her a cage. But she couldn't save him. And she couldn't stay. In interviews decades later, 1985, 2016, 2022, Priscilla talks about that moment in the dressing room. She says she didn't feel anger. She felt relief, because it gave her permission to let go. But late at night, when the cameras are off and the interviewers go home, she still wonders. What if she'd knocked? What if she'd turned around? What if she'd fought harder or left sooner? Can you ever fully leave someone who rewrote the story of your life? Today, Priscilla is 79 years old. She runs Elvis Presley Enterprises, protects his legacy, keeps Graceland alive, talks about him in interviews with a soft smile and careful words. She says he was a great father, a misunderstood man, a legend, but she keeps one thing private. There's a box in Priscilla's home, plain, wooden, tucked in the back of her closet. Inside is the photograph from July 24, 1972. The one with Mike Stone. The one she never showed Elvis. Next to it is a ticket stub from Elvis's September 3, 1972, show at the Las Vegas International Hotel. Row C. Seat 12. She kept it. She doesn't know why. Maybe as proof. Maybe as a reminder. She and Mike Stone eventually broke up. The relationship couldn't survive the weight of what it represented. She dated other men. Remarried briefly in 2006. But no relationship ever felt as consuming as Elvis. Because he wasn't just her husband. He was her identity. Her captor. Her first love. Walking into that dressing room didn't just end her marriage. It gave her back her life. But freedom came with a price. Guilt. Grief. The weight of watching someone you loved destroy themselves and knowing you couldn't stay to watch it happen. What do you owe someone who gave you everything but also took everything away? Priscilla closes the box. She doesn't talk about what she saw that night. Not fully. Not ever. Some truths are too heavy to share. But every year on September 3rd, she thinks about it. The hallway, the door, the 7 seconds that changed everything. And she wonders if Elvis ever thought about it too. If you've ever stayed too long in something that was breaking you, or left something you loved because staying would have destroyed you, share this story. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away, even when it haunts you forever.